This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Tarleton was instructed to do everything in your power to destroy the supplies destined for the rebel army. This included all public stores of corn and provisions. Cornwallis added, "If there should be a quantity of provisions or corn collected at a private house, I would have you destroy it, even if there should be no proof of its being intended for the public service, leaving enough for the support of the family, as there is the greatest reason to apprehend that such provisions will be ultimately appropriated by the enemy to the use of General Greene's army." Across the James River, Lafayette misinterpreted reports of Tarleton's movement westward to mean that Cornwallis was heading back to the Carolinas. Further reports correctly indicated that only part of the British army had marched toward Petersburg. The rest headed south toward Portsmouth. Unsure what Cornwallis was up to, Lafayette split his army. Wayne led approximately 500 Pennsylvanian and 400 Virginian Continentals across the James River, then westward to Good's Bridge in Amelia County, to be in position to strike Tarleton on his return or follow Tarleton southward if his destination was the Carolinas. While Wayne camped at Good's Bridge, Tarleton completed a 2-week 400-mile circuit of south-central Virginia and returned to Portsmouth without incident, upset that the stores destroyed were not in quantity or value equivalent to the damage sustained in the skirmishes on the route and the loss of men and horses by the excessive heat of the climate. Lafayette and the rest of the American Army in Virginia, the Light Infantry Corps and militia, spent most of July a few miles below Richmond at Malvern Hill, where they waited for Cornwallis's intentions to become clear. Lafayette's encampment sat on the north side of the James River and was described by the general as the most airy and healthy place this side of the mountains. Across the river and far to the south, outside of Portsmouth, Colonel Josiah Parker commanded a detachment of militia, but his numbers were too small to challenge Cornwallis in Portsmouth. General Clinton in New York was not pleased to learn of Cornwallis's move to Portsmouth. He informed his subordinate in mid-July that "I had flattered myself that you would at least have waited for a line from me before you finally determined upon so serious and mortifying a move as the repassing James River and retiring with your army to Portsmouth." Clinton and the British Navy wanted Cornwallis to establish a secure deep-water port for the Navy around Hampton or Yorktown. Clinton planned to send a large expedition up the Chesapeake Bay in the fall and desired a staging area, other than Portsmouth, which he thought was too sickly and confined for the Navy to launch it from. Additionally, the British Navy desired a safe location for part of its fleet to spend the winter. Clinton preferred Old Point Comfort near Hampton or Yorktown, which sat on the York River and looked out onto Chesapeake Bay. Clinton left the final choice of a site to Cornwallis and instructed him to retain whatever troops necessary to properly defend the post. To comply with Clinton's wishes, Cornwallis retained most of the troops that were about to embark for New York and made preparations to abandon Portsmouth. Yorktown was his destination. The first British troops landed in Yorktown at the beginning of August, and for the next 3 weeks Cornwallis and his army worked to dismantle their defenses of Portsmouth and erect new ones at Yorktown and Gloucester Point, directly across the York River from Yorktown. They had no way to know that before they completed this task, Washington, in New York with the main American army, set in motion a plan to trap Cornwallis in Yorktown. Supported by the surprise arrival in the Chesapeake Bay of a powerful French fleet, which drove off the British Navy in early September and cut British support for Cornwallis by sea, Washington rushed both American and French reinforcements from the north to Virginia to encircle and besiege Lord Cornwallis.